Hello and welcome to another out of spec testing video. We are going on a typical 70 mile per hour highway range test, but this time with all of the hottest and coolest electric adventure SUVs. Which one of these can get you deepest into the camping spot or to the farthest away Whole Foods? That is what we are going to find out in this video, because we have the Mercedes G580 with EQ technology. Terrible name. We're calling it the EQG. That's what Mercedes should have called it. We have the Rivian R1S and the Hummer EV, and all of them are equipped in their maximum range configuration. And we're basically going to run them all the way from 100% state of charge to where they die on the side of the road, completely dead. We're going to show you all the warnings that pop up, what happens after they die, and then of course we have to charge them up off the side of the road. So it's a side-by-side 70 mile per hour highway range test for all of you trying to decide which one of these three electric SUVs to buy. Starting off with this is the Mercedes electric G-Class, the G580 with EQ technology. Now, all of the vehicles, I should mention even before I get into this, are going to be batteries warmed up. They were driven up here, so drivetrains are warm, everything's up to temperature. Tire pressures were set wet and cold to manufacturer rating. All the same testing procedures always apply. We DC fast charge all the cars to 100%. The reason the Hummer's charging and these two aren't is because we're going to try to time when they all go to 100% and complete at the same moment so we can all pull out together. We're then going to run 70 miles per hour GPS verified. About halfway out for the lowest range car, which I'm guessing is going to be this, but we'll see. We'll turn around halfway, keep all the cars together as much as possible, and then one by one as they drop off and die on the side of the road, we have a safe frontage road that we use to run them to dead. We will then, basically have them continue running at 70 until they die. Standard procedure stuff. Mercedes G-Class. This thing is awesome. 122 kilowatt hour gross battery pack, 116 usable. And 4 motors. What's funny about this is we have a vehicle with 4 motors, 3 motors, and 2 motors here. And I'll explain all of that throughout this video. This is the only wheel and tire you can currently spec on a Mercedes G580, which is, I think, a bit of a shame. I would much prefer to see them go for a more off-roading option, although we all know these are mostly going to be used around LA as daily drivers. So quad motor system, however, it does mechanically disconnect the front axle and it will run rear wheel drive most of the entire test. There's no eco mode in the G-Class, very fitting, but there is a comfort mode that will give us the most range and efficiency. It will then go into Eco Climate 1, which is where it can maintain cabin temperature, but at a lesser intensity. And so we always run least aggressive climate control settings, but still able to control temperature. The tires are actually pretty amazing on these things. They are Falcon Azenzis FRS 20, if I'm reading that correctly. A Mercedes tire. This is actually the exact same G-Class I had, I don't know, a few months ago over in California, and I had it off-road, on-road, and I was just so impressed with this tire combination and this vehicle. I thought it provided pretty okay efficiency, amazing noise quality, amazing grip, and surprising off-road durability. It doesn't look like an off-road tire at all. It's not, but I did a lot of things with this car and it held up pretty well. So this is going to be a really interesting one to see how it does. Mercedes optimized the aero of the G-Class. I know you're laughing at home, for the electric model, because they added this little flap, they changed the A-pillar a little bit, they even put in this little slot right here, and we all know that is what's going to give it the difference in the range test. Jordan, behind the camera, you're going to be driving this.
That's right.
Very lucky.
They also raised the hood.
Oh yeah, somehow. This little bulge here, yeah. Maybe? Okay.
Better aerodynamics. And better weighting.
Yeah, weighting down, it's like 33 inches, right? Yeah. Crazy. Then we have, from the lowest range of EPA here, maybe we'll share those numbers really quick. Yeah. 239 miles of EPA rated range in the G-Class, 313 miles in the Hummer, and 410 miles in the Rivian. I think what we're going to see is a lot closer result than what the EPA difference shows, Jordan.
Right, because Mercedes typically overperforms.
Yes.
And then we've never really gotten a Rivian to hit its range, have we?
So early Rivians used to do really well in our test in comparison to EPA. Then they got smart and started to optimize around the EPA drive cycles, which means in the real world, you see a bigger disparity between the stated number and what you actually get on the highway. For example, they went and did clutch disconnects on the rear motor. They did a bunch of other like gear train and efficiency stuff to optimize for the EPA test, not for the highway number. And so that's why this car won't do 400 miles at 70 miles an hour is my prediction. And this is gonna go farther than it says, is also my prediction.
Yeah, I think so. It is funny how the Rivian normally looks pretty blocky, but today it looks like the slippiest thing here.
Yeah, that's right. This normally looks crazy, and they're all just in their normal ride height, I should mention as well. So the Rivian has the biggest battery and is the smallest vehicle. So I think we can all assume this is going to go the farthest. We also are able to run, for the first time, a 70-mile-per-hour highway range test on our own Rivian. I bought, for Scott, the longest range Rivian you can get. That's an R1S. Funny enough, the trucks are a bit more efficient than the SUVs, Jordan.
Right.
Which doesn't make sense to me, but
10 miles more efficient. We should do side by side, like as close as possible.
Already have videos live on Out of Spec something.
Somewhere out there.
I did that like a while ago. So we have the Aero wheels optioned on this, 22-inch max range Aero wheels, 140 plus kilowatt hour usable pack. The car's showing right now 144 kilowatt hours usable at 100%. We're going to see what we actually pull out of it because that'll be really interesting. And it's primarily going to run front wheel drive in this test because it disconnects the rear motor, which is the wrong motor to disconnect. And so the G-Wagon gets it right by disconnecting the front. This disconnects the rear. But dual motor, long range, everything on this. This will be really interesting to see how it does in our test. We've run a bunch of Rivians, even with this battery. They're predictable down low. They kind of hold power to zero. They go into turtle mode and then they die. Should be fairly predictable. And then we've got the Hummer. This is actually a little bit of an older Hummer. To be fair, all of these vehicles are within a few thousand miles of each other. This is the highest mileage one though, at around 14,000 miles, which is a bit high for what I like to test. We just couldn't find another Hummer to use, Jordan.
Yep.
And I would have preferred to use the dual motor Hummer. This is the tri-motor Hummer, but it's 1 mile of range difference. So, okay, doesn't really matter all that much. Come on over here. I want to show you these bad boys. We've got 305 section tires on this, Jordan.
Jeez.
It's a big honking tire. This also, actually, I said the Hummer has the biggest battery, or the Rivian had the biggest battery. This has the biggest battery. This is the GM 20 module, 180 kilowatt hour plus or minus battery pack. Currently charging up, and yeah, we should plug in the other cars for sure right about now. But essentially, 313 miles of range, tri-motor Hummer EV Edition 1. And so it's fully broken in, it's ready to rock and roll, and can't wait to see how this thing does. What's funny is we have a vehicle here that's rated in the 200-mile range category, the 300-mile range category, and the 400-mile range category. And I really think it's not going to be as big of a difference on the highway as the numbers suggest. What's your prediction, Jordan?
I agree. I don't think they're going to die at the same time, but I don't think it's going to be that far off. But I think Rivian will go further by a long shot.
Yeah, that Rivian's pretty good, pretty efficient. It's broken in. It's got like 7,000 miles on it.
I think Hummer and G-Class will be closer.
Yeah, could be, totally. So I'm really curious to see what happens when this dies, because we all know early GM Ultium vehicles freak out when you run them to dead. You got to pull negative terminals off the 12 volts. The new 2026 Hummer should have all that sorted.
Yeah, the 2026 Silverado did. So.
Yeah, so fingers crossed they fixed that, but this one is old.
Yeah.
So it's a side-by-side 70 mile per hour range test. Essentially, we're able to get 3 cars in the same test, all the numbers, and conditions are pretty good today, Jordan. Currently 0 wind, just a little bit colder than 70 degrees, feels perfect out.
Right.
It's gonna warm up throughout the day to like mid 70s. It's not gonna be that hot. The hotter the better actually for range testing. The only thing I'm concerned about is a little bit of rain. There's like 10-20% chance of rain.
Yeah.
So as long as they all go through the same conditions at the same time, it's a good comparison, but I'm really hoping we keep with dry conditions today.
Sweet, let's charge them up.
Let's do it.
All right, voltage check.
Voltage check, we always do this up top because it's interesting to see what everything's at. Rivians, we all know, are pretty high voltage, around 450 volts full. And we're talking for a 400 volt class of car, which all of these actually are. So we're at 451 right now, under charging, but we're under load. I mean, we're doing 100 kilowatts at 88%. These actually top charge way better on the new software, Jordan.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, huge improvement with the new MaxPack software. This is interesting because I don't know much about the G-Class battery. I only did one charging test on it before. We're at 92% on this, and it's right around, can't get the screen to work because these screens suck. There we go, 450 volts, 448.
Similar here.
At 92%. Now your Hummer is actually interesting because it can be a low voltage and high voltage class of car at the same time. Because it's got a double stack battery, it can go from parallel to series configuration for faster charging. And so it's actually at 666 volts at 95%. But as soon as you unplug it, it'll go to 333. So you're way lower on the voltage in the Hummer while driving than these two, which is really funny. But that's a very GM thing to be low voltage, isn't it?
Yeah, that's all of them have that.
Yeah, like Equinox, all the other ones. It's basically like two Blazer batteries stacked on top of each other.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. So, what are we all driving? You're driving G-Class.
Yep.
Scott's going to drive her own car to dead, which I think will be really informative for her.
Yep.
And I'm going to take the old Hummer. Now, I am happy with the Hummer. It's got a great sound system.
Yep.
I had it in full convertible mode the other day. It's the only convertible here.
That's how I would do my ideal range test.
Actually, it would be interesting to run an efficiency test with everything off and everything on.
Totally.
But there's only so much time in the world.
Yeah.
And that eventually has to go back. Oh yeah, you were able to get the charging port open on that?
Yes, I found the tool.
Oh, you watched our video. Charging port is broken on that car. You have to break into it every time. I meant to tell you that, but I'm glad you watched the video. You've got the best sound system here.
Genuinely the best sound system. It's my favorite press car, I would have to say.
I think it might be one of the best new cars on sale. And the best part is, Jordan, no one's buying electric Gs.
Yep.
Which means they are going to depreciate. I don't know. G-Classes always hold their value insanely well. But then you put the electric stuff in there. No one seems to want it, but it's the best one.
Well, it's like 911s hold their value, and then people wondered if Taycan would do the same, and it didn't. So I'm hoping this is the new Taycan.
I would love to pick up one of these half off.
Right.
Because this is the most expensive car. This is $187,000.
Yeah.
This is $105,000, and the Hummer's about $105,000.
Yeah.
So the Hummer is most amount of battery for the money.
Yep. If that's all you care about.
American value right there. All right, so Scott's going to take her Rivian, should be good. She's also bringing Kona with her, but we already informed Scott ahead of time she cannot run rear climate because we always run most efficient climate settings. So Kona, you might have to deal with some heat later on in the day. Sorry, dude.
It should stay cool and cloudy though, which is nice.
Yeah, this is not the first range test we've had a dog on. Remember Walter came in the e-tron?
Totally.
Yep, so this isn't the first one, but yeah, no rear climate for Kona, unfortunately, and we're just going to be running driver-only climate and everything. So, Scott, how do you think your car's going to do?
I think I'm going to win. Is it a win or lose thing?
Not really.
I think I'm going to go
It's
the
just
furthest.
a number.
First time?
Yeah, it's Scott's first range test.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go the farthest.
Okay. Nice. It's early. 7:11
It's
a.m.
very early. I'm not a morning person.
Yeah, I just want to say I got 7.5 miles per kilowatt hour getting up here in my Model 3. I don't think any of these are going to get close to that.
Oh my God.
What
Dude,
do you think is going to be the least efficient of the G-Class or the Hummer?
well, we know this will be the most efficient,
Right.
which isn't saying much because it's already a boxy SUV.
I think it's going to be that.
I think the Hummer's going to be the least efficient
Okay.
because in your 80 mile per hour test, your efficiency in this was
1.75.
1.75 miles per kilowatt hour. I got 1.6 on my road trip in this car. Hummer is just always 1.6. No matter what I drive, like, that's always 1.6.
Cruising around a Whole Foods parking lot, 1.6.
Yeah, it just always is. All right, well, let's not get this video super long. We'll charge them up to 100. We're going to get all the cars set up in their eco settings. We'll show everyone that. And then we'll head off on the test. And as always, you can skip to the end of the video to see the results if you wanted to. The G-Class was the first to complete at 100%. Typical Germans, they just charge really fast right up top and then boom, done. Rivian's at 99%, Hummer's at 99%. We'll be ready to leave here momentarily. All loads are off on the G, so it's not burning anything. This thing's almost done, like I mentioned, 99%. And this is actually indicating 100%, but still top charging a little bit at 21 kilowatts. So we have timed this perfectly. The G just completed. Wow. This is indicating 100, but still charging. And the Rivian's at 99, still charging. So
we timed this pretty well.
yeah, pretty good. And again, no wind. The temperature is like, it almost feels like no weather right now. It's perfect.
I asked Jess what a G-Wagon owner would wear, and this is what she picked out. Do people agree or disagree? Scott says it looks like a G-Wagon owner from Florida.
Yeah, you do look like a Florida G-Class owner.
Maybe not an LA one.
No, LA would be how to be the most annoying person on the planet.
Just look up Erewhon shopping and then see what you see in the store.
You guys join me in the Hummer EV to discuss setup and options and everything. I'm doing 15 kilowatts. The screen is flashing on my camera, but not in real life. We are going to reset the trip computer before we leave, but essentially we'll be good. GMs always show the EPA rated efficiency. So this is rated at 1.7 miles per kilowatt hour. We have 100% and our exact EPA rating there on the screen. Our energy usage, we should reset this, but I don't actually know how to. Anyway, that's okay. It doesn't really matter. This is the number we need right there. Other than that, in terms of setup and settings, we do have a couple different drive modes to play around with here in the Hummer, and I'm going to be running just the, not my mode, but the normal road profile. And this will put us into the most efficient, eco-friendliest settings, if anyone's ever thought about that for a Hummer. We also have one pedal drive settings, which I'm going to turn off. Since one pedal drive does a lot of friction brake blending, I'm going to basically control the regen myself, where we try to limit the amount of friction brake blending as much as possible. Keep in mind, this is a constant speed highway test, so there's very little regen throughout the test regardless, but especially at high state of charge with high one pedal driving, this will blend in friction brakes. I have that setting turned off in the Rivian, so Scott's not going to run into that issue during her range test, which will be good. She'll just be able to manage her regen. I'm sure I don't think she's had her car at 100% state of charge yet. She's not going to have any regen. It's going to feel really weird pulling out of here. She will have to use friction brakes probably just to stop at that stop sign right there for the battery to come off of top voltage. Anyway, I'm super excited for this. The Hummer's pretty much the last one to complete, even though it was the first one we plugged in. Still doing 14 kilowatts up top. We are waiting for it to complete, and then we'll all head out and hit the road.
Okay, I am, let's see, I'm at 99%. I've got 2 minutes left before I'm at 100%. It's showing 1 more mile than the EPA range. Kyle just walked me through what I'm supposed to do. So I know that I go here. I went ahead and reset my trip A, but I guess I'm supposed to do that again as I pull out. So that's all good. I'm going to put my ride height down in low. I'm going to take it out of auto suspension. I'm going to be in all purpose. And then I'm most bummed about this because I'm supposed to turn this off, keep it between 70 and 72. But I get really cold. So oh, nope, we don't need that. So I'm just going to kind of move these guys over, but I'm going to turn it off until I'm charged to 100%. So yeah, it'll be an interesting first range test for me.
We are here in the Geländewagen is what G-Wagon is short for, which really loosely translates to off-road car in German. Just gonna fire it up here just to show you guys how we are setting it up. At 100% state of charge, it says 232 miles is the estimate, or 275 if I'm really feathering it in, as we say. Curious which of those numbers I'll be closest to. I think this will overperform, though. I think I'll see at least 250. But jumping into the displays here, I'll stay on classic, and I'll swipe through to my trip meter, and we will, of course, reset this from reset. Oops. Here we go. It's a little sensitive on the touch, but in general, I really like the MBUX user experience, Mercedes-Benz user experience, what that means. They love the acronyms here. And yeah, so we are in comfort mode. You can adjust the drive settings here. Comfort, trail, rock, sport, or individual. I actually just kind of set individual as about the same as comfort, other than a little bit faster throttle response, but we're just sticking with comfort here because, again, no eco mode. Then if we go here into home, and then we will go into comfort, we will go into, nope, not there. I guess it's climate control. Where is that? There's a dedicated hard button for climate menu. Absolutely love that. So turning climate control on just to say Eco right there. So once again, not Eco Plus. Eco Plus would be like no AC at all, very, very bare minimum, just some fan speed. So we are doing Eco just to keep this as efficient as possible. We have levels of auto here. I'll probably keep it on the lowest one, but I can bump that up while still being within the Eco climate settings. And then we keep it between 68 and 72 degrees, kind of depending on the car. I'm guessing probably 69 here. And we'll keep it all synchronized. I have heated, ventilated, massage seats, heated steering wheel, lovely feature set in this car. I will not be using any of that, sadly, because we don't use any of those. You're done.
I'm done.
Finally. That took forever. I always forget how long it takes for a Rivian to soft charge, especially one like Scott's that's been level 1 charged a good chunk of its life.
Yeah, BMS needed to get a little bit back into shape there.
Yep.
But we're all complete at 100%.
Whew.
All right. So at the same time, we're going to set climate, reset the trip computers, and hit the road. Scott's first range test. First, though, Scott, you got to put it in the correct drive modes.
Okay, so I'm gonna go here, and I'm gonna do all purpose. Wait,
You got
I need
to turn it on.
Okay, taking it out of auto, putting it in
Lower
ride height.
That's all you got to do.
We're doing that so it doesn't do the clutch connect thing.
Yeah, we're going to try and keep it front wheel drive as much as possible. And so gentle accelerations as always. So we're pretty much good to go. I'll hit that just in case. And we're ready to rock and roll.
Let's go.
Meanwhile, here in rear wheel drive life, silence. Nothing beats a Mercedes. And just for good measure, reset from reset. Yes. Boom. We are good to go. Got climate and everything set. I think we're pretty much ready.
Time to go on the range test. 100%, 313 miles indicated in the Hummer. One thing I did forget was a 10 millimeter socket, but I'll have Dan bring one when I run out of juice. I'm gonna double, triple reset. First of all, windows, no automatic up on the windows. What is up with that? Sound system off. We have climate control at 70 on auto. Yeah, auto. There's no like eco anything in this car. It's a Hummer. Into drive, into L for increased recuperation. Nah, drive. And we're off. Rear steer pulling me out of here. I'll lead the way. We're not going to do any drafting as per usual. Just going to maintain 70 miles per hour GPS. I don't know what the GPS speed is on the Hummer, so I'm going to check that as soon as we merge onto the highway so that we can be locked in. And then I'm going to set Super Cruise, and I'll be super cruising through this range test, which will be awesome. So let's do it.
Okay, so here we are. I'm actually not entirely sure where we're going, but my climate... Let's go here. I'm going to turn it on, but this one goes off, this one goes off. Nothing in the middle, nothing in the back. And it's on auto low, which I already know is just going to drive me nuts. But I can keep it between 70 and 72, which is fine. And my trip computer's been reset. It's showing 410 miles at 100%. Jordan is looking at me. Wait, maybe he's not. He did look at me. Okay, we're leaving. It's time to leave. Boop, 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 boop. Alrighty. I think the hardest part of this for me is going to be not going too fast. So, we'll see. Baloney, are you ready? Okay.
We are about to get up on the road together as a pair. We've got the G-Class and the Rivian behind us, perfectly going smoothly. And let's do it. We'll merge up onto I-25 North towards Cheyenne. Gentle accelerations as always. I love how gentle acceleration. This thing's still outputting 80 kilowatts. It's a beast. I've got very little regen. No, 50 kilowatt regen at 100%. Crazy. That's wild. And tire pressures are all set to factory. This thing needs 52 PSI when cold. It is a juicy one. And we've got Scott and Jordan behind us right there. All is going well. Let's do it. We'll merge up together. Merging onto I-25. I haven't done one of these range tests in a hot minute, so I am very much looking forward to another one where we run them all to dead. We're merging together as a pair, just keeping it on the gentle side of acceleration to try to reduce as much heat loss as possible. We've got to hit 70 by the end of the on-ramp. I think we're on track for that at the moment. 7, 68, 69, 70, set. Nope, didn't set. This one, set. Cruise control, 70, boom, super cruise, on. All right, I'm gonna check GPS speed, make sure we're dialed in, but we're all spaced perfectly. That worked out amazingly well. No drafting, nothing like that. And yep, be back in a second once I get my GPS speed locked in.
Heading up to 70 miles an hour on the on-ramp, trying to get onto the highway. And it looks like, again, great conditions and also minimal traffic, which is fantastic. We'll see if that stays true throughout this, because this is a weekend. We're doing this on a Saturday. I woke up at 4:40 a.m. to do this. But setting cruise control here, and in the Mercedes, 70 miles an hour indicated is also 70 GPS. It's very German. The other cars will have to speak for themselves. Another bummer is, while this may be the best car of the trio, it does have the worst driver's assistance. Mercedes has fantastic driver assistance in the other vehicles like the EQS, EQE, etc. With the G-Class, it's just kind of, it is lane centering, but not great. It can't handle even the most minor curves. So I will be mostly fine because we're doing mostly straight highways, but still not the Super Cruise or Rivian, whatever they call that, Driver Plus. Those are hands-free systems. They're just going to be enjoying themselves, really having a nice ride. I'm going to be focused, constantly keep my hand on the wheel, and still having a nice ride, but yeah, could be better.
My GPS speed in the Hummer is dead on. How about that? The Mercedes and the Hummer, perfect. I bet the Rivian's like 1 or 2 over would be my guess. So we are out, we are cruising. There's a little bit of wind noise in here, and it's certainly the widest of all the cars. And I love it. I'm a Hummer guy. I actually love all of these cars. And I think a 3-car solution is one of each. They are all kind of accomplishing the same thing, but in totally different ways. And I appreciate the durability and engineering that went into the G-Class. Also, I've always been a G enthusiast. I love the Rivian. It's a new startup automaker with amazing software integration and really cool people and a great mission and just a fantastic product. And then Hummer. This is like American brute force. Big batteries, big tires, everything massive, and just, you know, get range by battery capacity. And it's amazing off-road and everything like that as well. It just feels big and chunky, and I love all of them for their own unique character. I'm glad I'm driving the Hummer though. Super Cruise is awesome. The G-Class has the worst driver assistance out of the bunch, but our roads are pretty much straight and all the cars don't have any problems just going straight. So cruising all day in these things, I'm going to sit back, relax, and enjoy the Hummer EV.
Good morning. My first range test, very exciting. So we're probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes in, and I am currently sitting at 1.72 miles per kilowatt hour. I am utilizing my Highway Assist Plus. I think that's what it's called. I don't remember. I know it's like driver assist in a Gen 1, but I have a Gen 2 Rivian. I checked my GPS app and I am going 70 miles an hour. My car says that I'm going 71, so a little minor discrepancy there, but that is fine. Kyle and Jordan told me that as we climb up to Wyoming, obviously we're gaining a little bit of elevation, but then that's why we come back down too, to kind of level it out.
There is our favorite buffalo in the hill, signifying we are almost to the border of Wyoming. And I'm here at 90% stated charge. We've done 19 miles. That's actually not bad. That's better than I expected. And maybe this car will outperform the EPA number, but also some people's expectations. We'll see. I'll have to see what people said on Twitter/X. I always post on there when we're doing range tests, just to see what people think we might get. But we're coming right up here to the border. I think we'll dip below 90 as we hit the border. And we always say, you know, above 90%, it'll be a long day. Below 90%, it'll last long. Just makes sense. Maths.
I am the first to come up to the Wyoming state border right up here, and I'm currently at 91%. Now I have to teeter between 69 and 70 miles an hour because my 70 is like 70.8. But there's Wyoming. We're at 91% state of charge, which means this should go pretty far. And as always, this is the least efficient part of the drive. It's a hill climb up to Cheyenne, and that's why we always end back at the charger to counteract elevation. But we have 1.2 miles per kilowatt hour. That's got to be one of the worst I've ever seen doing a range test through here. Very thirsty beast.
Okay, I know that we are getting close to the state line because it's right there. I'm sitting at whoop, 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 95% state of charge, and I'm at 2.1 miles a kilowatt hour. I need to, well, I don't want to recenter it yet, but I feel like we're so close. Are we crossing it and I just don't see it? Watch me watch this back, and there's like a big old, oh, there we go. Ha ha. I see it. Okay. I am crossing over the state line. In any car, when you cross the state, you have to put your legs up. Woohoo! And I'm at 95% and 2.11, or otherwise known as 11 miles a kilowatt hour.
And as predicted, there's the Wyoming sign. There's always people taking photos, which is fun. And 89%. So we did not stay above 90 into the next state. We'll see what we hit the border of Nebraska with. That'll be super interesting here in a little bit. Can't remember how many miles, but maybe 80 miles into the test. So another 50 miles or so till we hit the border of Wyoming, Nebraska. And we are about to jump onto I-80. That's where we head east instead of north from 25. And I can show off my cool little augmented reality display. A lot of the modern Mercedes like S-Class, EQS, etc. have a big augmented reality heads-up display. The G-Class has no such thing. Having such a upright positioned window means heads-up display would not really work. That's my guess anyways. So, turning right, we'll see. I put a stop down on the map, and it's saying we'll get there with 54%. Originally 53, so we might actually be able to go further than the car thinks. Although we will be entering a little bit of a headwind, slightly crosswind, basically coming from the southeast. So we will have to fight that, but also go down a little tiny bit of elevation. So, even though it's not direct headwind, we will still be having a bit of a tailwind on the way back, which should be nice, assuming conditions stay the similar.
And we're taking our I-80 exit over here, and man, conditions are pretty good, but we are about to get a little bit of a head crosswind, just a few miles an hour, nothing crazy. And then what we're going to do, wow, Super Cruise works on exit ramps? Oh, nope, just canceled. I was like, wow, how is this thing still lane centering? Keeping up the speed though, hell yeah. Yeah, we basically got a little bit of a head / crosswind, but that's why we run a loop style test, so we'll counteract it on the way back. So time to boogie up through here and take on the I-80 route into Nebraska. That's our next state. Can't wait. Man, I missed this test. This is awesome. Hopefully this construction zone's almost over. It's always like just a half a mile or something. We should be out of it in no time. You should have already known this, but you can't park there. Not allowed to park there.
Hey, buddy, you can't park there. Oh my gosh. Actually, in all seriousness, I hope he's okay. Jeez. That's terrifying.
Okay, so I almost passed Jordan, and then he just like jumped in front of me. Sitting at 72 with 90%. Once we keep our eyeballs on the road, which I am doing. And it looks like it's clearing up, so that's good. And I'm looking in the rear view. Kona, are you so sad, Coney? Kona. Aw, you are the cutest thing I've ever seen. Ooh. Yay, we're gonna get a pretty day. That's exciting. Well, we're behind these trucks. Nobody seems too mad right now. Yeah, going well. Okay, So I am at 89% state of charge. How many miles into this trip am I? I'm 47.2 miles into the trip. I have just gotten a hell of a lot more efficient. I am at 3.31 miles a kilowatt hour. So chef's kiss. I already know that's like better than the G and the Hummer. But I also wanted to tell you guys about my fun little test that I'm doing personally. So if you've watched any videos with me in them before, you might have caught on that I'm a huge music person. I really keep my music on all the time. And my favorite DJ is Dom Dalla. He's a DJ that's from Australia, and he's been my favorite for years and years. I've seen him, I am embarrassed, I've seen him play over 21 times. Will keep going for the rest of my existence. But I want to see how many DJ sets I can get through before I run out of charge. So he typically plays like an hour to 3 hours, depending on what set I've chosen. So I don't want to get copyrighted in this video. It is muted, but it is still playing. And I'm currently playing his 2024 Tomorrowland set. And yeah, I'll let you guys know. I know this is the riveting information everybody wants to know during a range test. How many Dom Dalla sets can Scott listen to?
So, planning charging stops. Whenever we do this drive, we never do a planning charging stop to a charger. We don't want the car to do any preconditioning or waste any energy doing that. Now, here's where I have a frustration with the MBUX system, the Mercedes-Benz UX. Overall, a great system. It lets me plan charging stops and adjust things on the fly while driving. Kyle's car can't do that. The Rivian can pretty well. And what's cool is I can set stops, I can rearrange them. It's really not too bad. Not quite as good as the Tesla system or perhaps the Rivian one, but still usable. However, if you go into here for settings, I don't want charging stops planned, but if I turn that on, then it lets me show the range monitor and state of charge destination, which by the way is at a minimum. Even with that, it'll then route and add a charger, which I don't want it to do. It'll tell me 52% turnaround, and then it adds a charger, and then it says 5% arrival if I charge from 10 to 20. So it thinks I may not actually be able to make it back if I remove that. So there's no way to show like a negative percentage on arrival or anything like that. So unfortunately, I can't see state of charge on arrival even on one destination as long as I have planned charging stops off. So it's a slight bummer, something I'll just have to work around with this trip, but we'll see as we get closer to the turnaround point whether it will be this exit or maybe one sooner. At the moment, it says I'll be turning around at 52%. I think that'd be fine because, well, we have a little tiny bit of a tailwind on the way back towards Cheyenne, but I'm not entirely sure. So I find Mercedes to be pretty accurate with their estimated charge on arrival. So perhaps I'll have to turn around one exit sooner than I think.
We unfortunately have a bit more construction than I would like or have remembered on this loop. There's a few miles of this single track situation. However, we are all together and the Rivian's right behind the G-Class. So at least it's a great comparison side by side, but in terms of the actual 70 mile per hour numbers, it'll be close. It's not like this is going on for more than a few % of the entire test, but it's not ideal where we can just sit at the set speed like we typically do. This is a real, a little bummer from my side, but that's okay. We're still continuing with the test. It's a great side-by-side range comparison.
Here we go, in a bit of a construction zone, unfortunately, but I am checking in at 75% state of charge at 8:51, or about 8:50 a.m. And we've done 60 miles. So by that math, we may see, let's see, 240 miles, which is right about EPA. We'll have to see if the discharge curve is linear. We're not sure if the battery pack will drain completely equally, although it's German, so I'd assume it would. We also don't know what it'll do at the bottom of the pack exactly, whether we have a bit of buffer to deal with beyond that. Not entirely sure. I'm still hoping for 250 miles. Like, that feels like a solid number for me, but it's entirely possible that we only hit EPA. A lot of other Mercedes products exceed the EPA, but they're also pretty slippery, ugly, but that's what makes them have a great drag coefficient and pretty good efficiency. With this, it's a brick. So we're just a hair over 2 miles per kilowatt hour, maybe 2.2 or something like that right now, and I'm guessing the overall efficiency will stay at close to 2 miles per kilowatt hour. We have to beat 2 miles per kilowatt hour to actually hit EPA, so hopefully we do, just not entirely sure. But hey, 75%, 60 miles in roughly. It's about 59 miles when we hit that, but we'll see what happens with the rest of the test.
We are just about to cross into Nebraska, and I have hit my 75% check-in, 72.3 miles in. Let's just call it 72 miles when I hit 75%. So, yeah, we're out of the construction for a while. Things are good. A little bit of headwind, but again, we'll get the tailwind push on the way back. Conditions are great, mid 60 degrees, comfortable, cruising. Nice way to spend the morning. And we are now entering Nebraska.
Just missed the sign, but 70% state of charge at the border of Nebraska. So probably about 30 miles till we turn around. That'd be my guess. And then we head back towards where we started here, Wellington, Colorado. And that shows my car estimating 55% turnaround. Curious what the other cars will be. We're all turning around at the exact same place, just to keep it fair, keep the route itself fair. Finally, I guess 2.5% is the cutoff to where it won't add a charging stop. That's my rough guess, because initially at 2% it was adding one, and then high 2% it seemed to not add a charging stop. Now it's saying we can get to this exit to turn around at, and then get up back to Owl Canyon Road, which is right by where we started, at 3%. So that's kind of the plan right now, and then we'll do another loop on the Frontage Road or maybe highway, just till we diet down till it's empty. By the way, I don't know whose Spotify is connected to this. I don't use Spotify, but they're a Creed fan. It's probably Scott. I'm guessing Scott's a Creed fan. I could see that. Getting ready to flip around. We have our exit. And Mercedes usually pretty accurate with the route planning, but this time it's was a bit pessimistic, I think. It originally said I'd get to this exit at 52%, and now we're arriving here at 58%. Actually, 59%. So, flipping around, the next exit after this is 10 miles, which adds a total of 20 miles, which there's really probably no way this will do an extra 20, although if it does, that'll be funny. We'll find that out later. But it's easy for us to loop back closer to the charger, so that's what we'll do. And now I think is when we will flip order and have Scott lead the way.
We have just crossed 100 miles into the trip, and we are going to be turning around at exit 29. Not because I need to, not because Scott needs to in a Rivian, but because Jordan in the G class is getting terrible range. So we're going to exit here. We're going to switch positions. We're actually going to put the Rivian in the lead since it was all the way at the back. All three of us are together perfectly, which is wonderful. So it goes me, the G class, and then the Rivian right back there. We're going to gently come off. We'll switch positions. And we'll have Scott lead us back onto I-80, heading back towards Colorado. So just gently coasting off here, and we'll flip around on the on-ramp to the highway. Should be great.
Okay, we are getting off. We've gone 102 miles, and I think we're doing a turnaround. However, I am still at 78%. So I was told that we have to stick as close as possible. I think Jordan's around like 55 or 65%. Yeah, unclear if I just come back up here and then go back down. I am uncertain, but the vibes are high here. How's the baloney doing? Yeah, he's the best road tripper. And so now we are doing a little wraparound. All right, I'll check in when I'm at 75%.
I can't tell you how many times I've turned early and gone on the on-ramp by accident, but you've actually got to go on this side, which is, or I guess that's the off-ramp, get on the on-ramp. So we're going to let Scott get ahead, and then we'll switch positions, and all should be good. I guess I'll go in the rear. Jordan can pop in front, and then Scott will go in front of everyone. We didn't tell her this was the plan. It's her first range test. Where is she going? Go.
Or maybe I'll lead because Scott has never done a range test before. So I know the route, totally fine with me. 58%, we are getting back on the highway. And it's claiming 5% on arrival in 99 miles. So we only made it 100 miles. And we're turning back around. Of course, we'll have a bit more to burn, but that's a 200-mile loop. Scott's Rivian is so confused. It's like wondering why we're turning back. That's so funny.
We are merging back up to the highway. I gave Scott the memo as to what the heck is going on here. So Jordan's going to drop a mile an hour or two, and Scott's going to go for the pass. There we go. And should be good. We'll get them all coordinated. Cruising along just fine here at 70. Put some cruise back on. Nice. And we'll see y'all as we cruise down the highway. Looking great.
Okay, so apparently I have to be in front now because I was drafting. I don't know. That's why they were honking at me, because I was supposed to be going like slower. I don't know. We're here. We're good. I'm about to pass him.
Scott is taking the lead. That thing looks good rolling down the road.
Things are going super well. I can just pop over here really quick to show you. Actually, no, Scott's going in the left lane there. Or we're going around a left turn, I should say. We've got us all together perfectly. And much less traffic heading this way than the other way. So easy to stick together, perfect spacing so no one is drafting. And much prefer this. This is really good compared to coming out here. Coming out here was a little rough for what I like to see from our range tests.
Okay, I'm at 75% state of charge. I've gone 109 miles with an average of 2.85 miles a kilowatt hour. I'm currently sitting at 3.09 miles a kilowatt hour. This is not a pre-mapped road, according to my Rivian, so I do actually have to hold the wheel. Very silly, very not demure.
I just missed the state of charge check-in for 50% because it's so boring out here. But it was right about exactly 120 miles. So it looks like 60, 120. We might see 180 at 25%. We'll see. I'm still holding on for 250 miles. Maybe there's some magical little bit of stuff at the bottom, but maybe it'll be very German and be very precise at 240 on the dot. Time will tell. The state of charge on arrival is creeping up, so I do expect a decent loop when we get back to the end there. But yeah, not much else to report. Pretty boring. Good ride. No air suspension in this G-Wagon because they don't need air suspension. Actually, they can't use air suspension because then it wouldn't be shockle proven. It wouldn't be rugged and off-road enough. So totally fine with how it's set up. Ride's great, comfortable. I'm a huge fan of this car.
We are heading back through that construction zone that we came on the way in, that few mile long thing. We are maintaining pretty good speed, but still kind of a bummer, this one. But that's okay. We're all together. Scott's in the lead. I'm following Jordan. We're all doing the same thing, which is perfect. We've just reached 50% state of charge, 144 miles traveled. So we are going to be very close to 300 miles of range in the Hummer. Really curious to see where this one ends up. But weather has stayed consistent. Really couldn't ask for much better other than just this construction zone to get out of the way, but it's not like it's impacting us all that much. And as far as a comparison goes, as long as all the cars go through the same conditions at the same time, at the same speed, then I'm pretty happy. I snuck in front of Jordan just because we're coming up. No traffic. We just slowed down right here because there is a vehicle on fire. Those damn electric cars always catching on fire. You know, this is what I read about on Facebook. Oh, it's an invisible one. Must have burned up real strong. Oh no, must be up here. Maybe this is where the electric vehicle is caught on fire. Dun, 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 dun. They're putting the ropes away. The hoses. Oh no, it must have been a truck trailer. It doesn't seem that bad. Dude, pull your pants up. Doesn't seem like a good day.
Okay, we just passed the trailer that was on fire, and I'm trying to get up to speed here. The boys are behind me, so that's Jordan. You can see him, and then that's Kyle. All right, now we're getting up to speed. I am at 56%, and I just spoke to Kyle. So I'm averaging 2.6 miles a kilowatt, which this vehicle is incredibly inefficient. However, those two are even worse. He said he's averaging 1.6 miles a kilowatt hour. So, too funny.
All right, also just missed 25%, but that was about 170 miles. So a little bit under the 180 that I was expecting it to be. And we've settled in right about 2 miles per kilowatt hour, just a hair over / a hair under 500 watt hours per mile, as the way Mercedes calculates it, which is a better way. It's more granular. So I prefer watt hours per mile, but yeah, not too bad. We're about to loop here onto I-25 South, and temperatures have stayed consistently in the 60s and didn't really have any rain, like little snippets of rain every once in a while. It's mostly been just a bit of wind. I'd say maybe 5 to 10 miles an hour of wind, either headwind / tailwind, maybe a little bit of a crosswind. So that did negatively affect us just a hair, as well as, you know, these cars probably would have done a bit better in a bit more heat, but then the AC would have been working a bit harder. So maybe it's a take one, give one type of thing. Either way, we're now looking to arrive at the next turnaround, aka the quote-unquote end, at 11%. So Mercedes, from initial setting off to now, was off by over 10%. It initially said we couldn't even make it, and now it's saying we have 11% on arrival. So a lot more off than I was expecting for their route planner. I'm kind of surprised. And a little disappointed. I mean, I thought Mercedes would be dead accurate, and it has been in a lot of my testing lately, but maybe that's at higher speeds. Maybe it was assuming a higher speed, but does make sense. These highways are largely 75 miles an hour speed limit, and we're doing 70. So Mercedes probably expects us to do 80. So that does kind of add up just a bit there. So I will be doing the loop once we get back to Owl Canyon until we die.
There goes Scott. Jordan and I are stuck behind this Ford, and we're heading down to I-25 to complete the loop. It's things are going pretty well so far, man. The G-Wagon looks amazing going around corners. It's pretty top heavy, but it handles amazing. I mean, like, you can rip on that thing, and it's pretty good. It's hilarious. So here we go, back up to 70 miles an hour. Time to continue with our stretch. Guys, you join me in the Hummer on the return stretch. I've used 116 kilowatt hours, which is a full capacity of that G-Class right there. Now, I still have plenty of range to go. I've got, 96 miles or so left to go, according to this. I've also lost Super Cruise and Adaptive Cruise Control. So I have to drive manually now, which is not fun. Is what it is. But with using a full G-Class battery pack, I've only gone 194 miles. So for sure, the G-Class is more efficient than the Hummer, and we already knew that. But always fun to think about battery capacity versus efficiency. This kind of just shows if you build a more efficient vehicle, such as that brick right there, you can go farther on the same amount of energy.
Hello, I am at 50% state of charge. I'm currently doing 2.7 miles a kilowatt hour. Kona, how are you doing? He's like, lady, I am sleeping. He looks so out of it. I've gone 193 miles. I'm averaging 2.68 miles a kilowatt hour. We're about to go over a real big bump. We are about to pull off in like 8 miles for Jordan because he is totally gonna run out. That's crazy that he is almost done and I'm only at 50% in my incredibly inefficient vehicle. So another point against the G. It's not practical, it's not efficient, and it's really expensive. But if you love that, go ahead and get one.
Getting close to our exit, and I am honestly shocked at how much off the Mercedes range estimate was. We're going to end up with about 14% when it originally said 1%, maybe 0%. So that was way off. I know, like I said earlier, maybe it was expecting we do closer to the speed limit, but also I would assume it would learn our driving and see cruise control set. at a constant 70 for the last couple hours. Still didn't seem to help. So gonna stop here. Kyle's gonna power cycle so he can hopefully get cruise control back on, which means I'm gonna try to get Apple Music signed in because it's not currently working. We have made it to Owl Canyon for another turnaround. We're gonna switch positions and I'm actually gonna restart the Hummer because I have no cruise control, no super cruise, nothing like that. So I am just gonna pull right here, reset the car. I'll meet up with these guys in a second. Well, they're gonna wait for me so we all stick together. I'm gonna do a quick reset. And I've used 119 kilowatt hours on the nose because I think this is going to get reset. 201 miles. Let me turn it off, turn it back on. Okay, Hummer back on, please work. Let's have cruise control back into drive. Okay, so our trip is saved. This did get reset, but we'll add 119 kilowatt hours to whatever it says. And then we are good to go. Let's do it. Should have cruise control back. Let's see. The answer is, oh, maybe not. Don't know. All right, G-Wagon should go first. Scott is off, Jordan is off, and I am off as well. Hopefully we don't get crashed into. We should not. All is good, safe, nice. We'll pop back onto I-25 north, and this is where we're going to run out. So I thought the G-Wagon was going to get pretty close to running out, but Jordan said the calculation was pretty far off. So should all be good to get up to speed gently. This is our second turnaround. Scott's doing way better than all of us right now, which is amazing to see that Rivian honestly have some huge range in comparison to these. So 200 miles in, we're heading back up for more driving. Let's keep it going. And I have lost all cruise control, still not coming back. I can turn it off, turn it on, try to lock it in, nothing happens. Hit the Super Cruise button, nothing happens. It's just kind of took a crap on us. Oh no, maybe it needed a real deep sleep. I let the screen shut off, let everything go down, and then turned it back on, but not enough to get cruise control back. That is a bummer. Yeah, got Apple Music set up, which makes this, again, the best car because it has Dolby Atmos, unlike Spotify, and unlike Apple Music in Teslas. This is actually probably one of the best Dolby Atmos, actually the best Dolby Atmos for Apple Music car in existence, because Cadillac doesn't yet support Apple Music. Anyways, we just hit reserve level charge high voltage battery, which happens right about 30 miles, or in this case about 12%. I'm going to clear that message. We're going to go back up roughly probably another 8 miles, turn around, so another 15 miles on the highway, see what it looks like at that point. But yeah, this is where the looping begins. Nice flat ground, so should be pretty easy, pretty consistent conditions. Don't know why Kyle doesn't have cruise control. These GM products, man, I tell you what, they're mostly good, but man, little bugs here and there. All right, now to do another loop back. I am at 8% stated charge, 492 watt hours per mile, so just a hair over 2 miles per kilowatt hour as we exit here. And I think this may be where we split up. Scott and Kyle will continue on their journey to try to drain their vehicles. The phone has no idea how to focus on them, but I'm going to focus on the road. So good luck to everybody else. There goes Scott. There goes Kyle. Poor guy, I think still doesn't have cruise control. But I am going to loop back around, head back towards Owl Canyon, where Dan, the man with the Cybertruck, will be my rescue when I run out. According to other Mercedes products we have recently tested, EQS notably being the most recent, I think, it does seem to be fairly accurate. We start losing power, as you can see here. Now we have 70% of our original power, which for this thing, 579 horsepower, that's still like 300 plus horsepower. Not too shabby. Easily able to get up to speed here. And I will log how long I can keep hold of 70 miles an hour. Then, at one point, we'll log the time or the distance we go at 70, then we'll see how far we can go past 70, like past zero basically, and then run out. Right now it's saying 2% on arrival, the original time, so I got an extra like 15 miles that the car didn't know I could do. Totally crazy.
Jordan is exiting here at exit 293. See you, Jordan. Scott and I are continuing. Here in the Hummer, I'm getting 1.6 miles per kilowatt hour. This is the last point where we really get all of our comparison efficiency in. And I've used 127 kilowatt hours to go this far. More than that G-Class has installed usable by over 10 kilowatt hours. All right, see you, Jordan. Scott and I are continuing along at 70 miles an hour. And I'll have to drop off. She and I will loop back together. And I think she's just going to be doing the Owl Canyon to Cheyenne loop a few times up here on I-25. Pretty easy to maintain speed, no construction, no major traffic. This is the way to do it.
Alrighty, Jordan is dropping off. And I am at 45% state of charge. Currently getting 2.71 miles a kilowatt hour. And I've gone a total of 212 miles with an average of 2.68. I've got Kyle in my rear view.
There's another reserve level charge high voltage battery at 15 miles remaining. So I think I was right to remember that it was 30 and 15 as the miles remaining marks for warnings. Still kicking. By the way, we were seeing that the cruise control might actually be a bit optimistic GPS speed wise. So I've been oscillating between 71 and 70 indicated to be right about 70 GPS. A little confusing there, but that's as good as it can get. So exit at Owl Canyon, then turn back up north towards this exit, and we'll just keep looping on these frontage roads where it's a very safe place to run out and die because these frontage roads are essentially abandoned. They don't really go anywhere, so you see pretty much no traffic on them, which is nice.
It is time for my 25% check-in. I've gone 218 miles, still 1.6 miles per kilowatt hour. That's just what Hummers do, and things are going well. 25%, 218 miles in, 73 miles predicted. Let's see what freaking happens.
All right, well, this is interesting. My power levels dropped all the way to 30%, and I still have 4% left in the battery. We're also getting to the exit with 4% when it originally said we'd get here with 2%. So it really, the route planner is kind of all over the place, which again is kind of surprising. So right 230 miles exiting again. For reference, this is right about half the distance the Silverado EV went the other day. Absolutely crazy how far that truck went. I was exhausted. I'm feeling pretty good right now with this thing. So looping back around, I'll just keep looping, let you guys know when I'm coming off 70 miles an hour. I don't want to make this video that long if I can avoid it. I'm guessing it no longer thinks we can make it because there's no longer a stated charge on arrival. It just says 11 miles to my destination, which I don't think I could actually do with 3%. So I'll probably be jumping on this frontage road right here, and that's where Dan should be meeting me to hopefully rescue me.
Scott and I are cruising. We decided to not go on I-80 for this loop. It doesn't really make a difference. That's why we start and end at the same elevation. But we're going to continue north on I-25, heading up this way. I can't get anything to go in the nav in this car because it doesn't let you drop a pin. So like on newer GM stuff, I can turn off this setting that basically is like called driver lockout or something, and then I can drop a pin. But here, for whatever reason, I can't do it. Normally it would be in this notification menus, and I can't get up in there. The other thing is I can't search by voice because the car won't connect to anything. So this is a real technical challenge happening here in this car. Now, I guess I could navigate to the charge point station, but I don't want it to precondition, and it's voice only while driving. So since I can hit this here, and you can see it will try to do the voice. Oh wait, I clicked it twice. It's laggy. Let me click it once. It tries to do it, and then goes, can't connect. So I've got no adaptive cruise, no lane centering, can't connect, and can't drop a pin. So this is all manual calculations going on here to figure out how far up we should go for me to run out heading back. But we'll make it work.
Now we have the drive power reduced. See operator's manual. I don't know why it doesn't tell me more on this screen. There's so much room for text. Basically, I guess that's turtle mode, and that indicates 20% overall power. You can see by that dim orange bar there. And we're at 2% now. So saying 5 miles, maximum of 6 miles. We will see if we can make it back on this frontage road. Really not sure if we can. Or maybe it's optimistic. I can't remember. But I also don't know if the G-Class will be the exact same as the EQS or not. You just don't know. That's why we do these tests, to find out what these cars do. For the 3 electric G customers out there, this is valuable information. And unlike the GM products, and actually a lot of other companies, they'll turn off your ability to keep cruise control this low. Mercedes lets you continue it even if you can't actually hit that speed. So here we are doing a little bit of an incline and still looks like able to hit 70 miles an hour. Heck yeah, even with only 10% of our power. So that's what, 59 horsepower, something like that? Oh man. We're climbing an incline, so I'm going to give it a pass here, but let's see what it does as we crest this little hill. Otherwise, not sure if we will count anything past this. Oh my gosh, it crested right at 70, and then we went up another hill, and now it's down to 62, and now we're on flat ground. It can no longer keep our speed. So we are 3.9 miles from the next little exit. So I'll have to use some math to figure out our exact mileage, because once again, they covered it up. So I will now limp below 70 until we reach Dan. What's interesting is the drivetrain's actually pulsing a little bit. I'm down to 5% power, so we are nearly dead, folks. It's so great though. I have lane centering and cruise control still set, even though we can't physically reach that number. This is such a weird feeling. This pulsing, I'm on a very, very, very flat road. And the pulsing of the drivetrain is really super interesting. Wondering if I can go in here and see info to see the energy flow. Yeah, still just rear wheel drive. So I think that's how it's been this entire time. There's really been no need to accelerate with all 4 motors. But it's just the way, I don't know if it's a permanent magnet motor thing with Mercedes or what causes the like slight drivetrain pulsing sensation. But we are just 2 miles out. I think we will make it back. It's very gradually draining itself. It just said stop immediately. Drivetrain system will not function. And now it's saying reduce drive power. Stop immediately. Drive will be deactivated. Charge high voltage battery. Oh, it's really starting to slow down here. Oh, more pulsing happening. Dan is coming up pretty soon here. We might be able to get a rescue. Well, we might be able to limp our way to the frontage road. We are 1 mile away, but I don't know. It's going to be close. Still saying 5% on the power meter, but that might be optimistic at this point because it looks like it's struggling to hit 3%. There's Dan coming to rescue me. Trusty old Cybertruck, man. I do miss ours, honestly. He's going to loop around right there and follow me as far as we can get, maybe to the frontage road, which would be great, but we are really dropping speed pretty dramatically now. And don't want to get too slow.
Well, things are going super well up here in Wyoming. Scott and I are just cruising along. We got a Maserati flying up. I've just been knifing through a tiny bit of traffic, but he was in a rush. All good. Yeah, but up ahead you can see no one and nothing. And we've been able to just sit at 70 miles an hour the entire time, which has been wonderful. So cruising along, man, her Rivian does look pretty dang good, doesn't it? Thing is so awesome. Slammed out in low suspension. It can go to lowest, but not in all-purpose mode. So that's the most efficient configuration that car can go in. Hummer just sits in normal ride height. And yep, all is good. So we're going to flip around at the next exit. That should get me back to Owl Canyon at a pretty reasonably low state of charge. And that's kind of all we've got going on. We've burned quite a bit of energy out of this battery. I'm at 19%-ish. And that's the plan. I'm just sitting here in the left lane as long as no one's coming up, which someone is, just to not draft off Scott, basically. Just trying to maintain 70, but not draft. But anyway, we're going to flip around here, exit 21, head back to the start point. Scott will continue, and that's probably where I will run out, somewhere around there.
So the pulsing might actually be due to the cruise control trying to keep it up. I canceled cruise control to do manual throttle, and now it's no longer pulsing, but still losing power. Oh my gosh. Got a little bit of regen there on that hill, but we are getting really close. We are now at the Owl Canyon exit, and this is probably where we will nearly run out. I'm going to try to get every last bit out of this and keep going on the frontage road.
All All right, time to flip around up here in Wyoming. I guess we'll do it on the on-ramp. I'll pop into the lead, and we're just trying to keep it fair as to what car is pushing the air out from what car. You know, not that we're drafting, that's never the goal, but it is just for the off chance something catches something, we just switch positions. So Scott's going wide over here. That sounds good. I'll pop in this way, take the lead, and off we go. Let's do it.
Okay, Kyle and I have just traded places. I'm at 37% saved charge, averaging 3.06 miles a kilowatt hour. Let's see, how many miles have we gone? We've gone 240 miles, and we are averaging 2.68 miles a kilowatt hour. Good Lord. Don't roast me for that one. Yeah, let's boogie.
Wow, with a little tiny bit of elevation, I'm really struggling to hold any sort of speed. I do have Dan behind me with the Cybertruck, so he's kind of protecting me, but barely able to hold on to 35. I'm really just going as far south as I can at this point, because at this point, we're getting kind of close to the charger, which will be really nice, convenient. Won't have to charge too much, but oh man, it's oscillating now between 0% power and like 2%. Oh man, we might catch this bicyclist up here, but we might not. If I can just crest this hill, then I can pull over safely. But I don't know if I can crest the hill. That's going to be interesting. We are absolutely crawling here. I'm going to have to let a little bit of valuable regen. Going to let these guys go by, and then I'm going to pull over to the side there, because I think this is literally all she's wrote. Oh yeah, there's basically nothing left. Oh my gosh. Pulling in with fumes. Throttle response is doing nothing. And yeah, we'll do some maths to figure out how far we've come, but man, what a ride. All right, climate's shut off, all loads have shut off. We're even gonna turn off the lights just to make sure. And Dan's gonna pull around back. We're going to open this little AirPods case that contains our charging cable. How adorable is this? It's only a 32 amp EVSE, unfortunately, but hey, better than nothing. Weird, it kind of failed at first, but now it's lighting up, and now it's happy. Maybe it was so dead that I had to like trickle charge for a second. Oh, I heard another error sound. Huh. It may be cycling through power. All right, finally have the stats. So I did right about 230 miles at 70 miles an hour, and then another 7 miles of just trying to get here. So we didn't even hit EPA. It was close, but no cigar. And when we came off 70, it was right about 490-ish watt hours per mile. That's my guess. It's just because Mercedes covered up the thing, I couldn't see the exact numbers. So just a hair over 2 miles per kilowatt hour, and just a hair under the EPA estimate, which is kind of a bummer. I really thought this thing would go 250 miles, but I guess not.
I just got my first warning here in the Hummer that says charge vehicle soon. It's also getting really hard and annoying to maintain 70 without cruise control. I can't do anything to turn it on. I've tried. Anyway, doing my best. All good. We're at 10% state of charge, 29 miles remaining, but this is the highest point of elevation of the entire test. So we should be pretty good to at least make it to the Owl Canyon turnaround. Fingers crossed. It's all downhill from here, literally. I have just reached roughly 5% state of charge here in the Hummer, 274 miles in. I think I can go for one more loop. That's the frontage road over there on the left where we're going to run out of juice completely. So my plan is probably run to Owl, up to Buckeye, and then exit on the frontage road. These things do get a little voltage saggy down low in the pack, and they have a pretty hard time maintaining output, for consistent cruising, which is highway speed. Especially if you're towing with any of these GM products, definitely make sure that you, do not tow below 5% state of charge with any of these vehicles, because the constant load pulls the voltage down, sags the voltage in the pack, and it just can't output the power. When you give it a big regen hit and it spikes the voltage back up, then you actually do get a bit of acceleration back for 10 seconds, 5 seconds, something like that. So anyway, all pretty normal stuff happening here. We're at 5%. We'll run to Al, up to Buckeye, then take the frontage road. All should be good. Jordan should be charging the G-Class somewhere where he ran out in the area. So I think we are in good shape here. I have just got the low distance to empty and reduced acceleration drive with care and felt the accelerator pedal get a little bit spongier. All very normal things happening here, nothing unusual. We still have, whoa, plenty of power available for a pulse discharge, which isn't actually that bad. We are gonna flip around here, take the highway back up, and then we'll take the frontage road down from there. Everything is going well. I've just lost my distance to empty and it just says low. Welcome to General Motors lifestyle. Merging onto the highway for the last time in the Hummer, getting the speed up. Man, my foot is tired of just maintaining that perfect 70 miles an hour. You know, there's a little bit of hill and hill down and stuff like that, and you really just have to be so precise with the accelerator pedal, and it's a pretty soft pedal. So there's not a lot of pressure to keep it steady against there. Anyway, things are good. Scott actually went one exit south, which isn't typical for testing procedure, but it doesn't matter. She's going to end all in the same spot, and as long as she can maintain 70, it won't affect results at all. So things are good, and yeah, we'll turn around up here and just kind of rip up and down the frontage road till this thing dies.
Okay, I just messed up a little bit. I was following Kyle, and then he said he was going to run out, and I thought I was supposed to keep going and then flip around, but that is not the case. So I am going, I guess, 4 miles out because it's 2 miles down here and it'll be 2 miles back. But I am sitting at 27% state of charge. It says that I have 113 miles left. I'm averaging 3.47 miles a kilowatt hour for now. And in total, I've gone 281 miles. And I'm averaging 2.73 miles a kilowatt hour. I don't know why I couldn't follow directions better because, yeah. Anyways, whoops.
You guys joined me in the Hummer at 2% state of charge. Each little dash there indicates 1%. It doesn't actually spit it out in a numerical form, but pretty good. I don't think we'd have enough to safely stay on the highway, plus we can maintain highway speeds on the frontage road, which is great. So we are exiting now at 2%, and we'll run this thing to dead up and down the frontage road. Should be pretty easy.
All right, switch on headlights, driving power reduced, and we're back at it again. We only charged 1%, 3 miles range remaining, just because I know I could actually limp a couple miles on 0-0. So I think I have enough buffer just to make it back to the station. We'll get charged up, and I sent Dan on to go find Kyle. We'll give our final thoughts later, but yeah, awesome to see over 200 miles, I guess. This is just a brick. This is a brick going down the road with not a huge battery, 116 kilowatt hours usable. I would have been fine with it doing 200 miles on the nose because this is such a cool car that it doesn't really matter to me that you can't really do a lot of range or have insane charging. It's got decent charging, 200 kilowatts peak, holds it pretty strong and steady, about an hour 0 to full. So I'll totally take it. For reference, a Tesla is about an hour 0 to full, and that's with a smaller battery and a higher peak charging. It's all about the curve, and this has a pretty solid curve.
Cruising along just fine here. We are at 1% state of charge, and it's actually got plenty of performance to maintain speed here. No issues at all. Rolling up on 287 miles here pretty soon, so we're going to be close to 300. Will this thing hit the magic 300 at 70 miles an hour? I am unsure. I also don't think it will, but hey, only time will tell. Let's see what happens.
Alrighty, I am at 25% state of charge. It's 12:17 in the afternoon on this beautiful Saturday. I've gone 287 miles. I'm averaging 2.71 miles a kilowatt hour. And right now I'm getting 3.22 miles a kilowatt hour. Kyle just turned off with 2% onto the frontage road. I am now headed back up. I don't know if this is north or south. I'm not very good at that. I guess I could look because it shows me. I'm going north.
this is interesting. We actually have no state of charge bars indicated on the screen there, but still easily maintaining, again, the typical highway speed needed. So maybe it's a little BMS confusing. Maybe those aren't 100% representative of state of charge. Either way, we're still ripping along just fine, and still plenty of power here to, climb this hill at 70 miles an hour. So it counts. Keep ripping. The only car I've seen on this frontage road is my rescuer right here. This is Dan in the Cybertruck, and he'll be charging up. We'll be charging this up off of his truck. So should go pretty well. But hey, we're still cruising along highway speeds, 290 miles in. Let's keep it ripping. We have a little bit of a power limit. I'm wide open throttle at the moment, getting back up to 70 miles an hour, but it certainly is able to get right back up to 70. So there we are, and I can maintain that. Dan's going to wait up here on the frontage road for me, and things are good. We should be out of juice here pretty soon because we do, again, have a bit of a power limit. That's very typical behavior for GM stuff, but man, very impressed. We might actually hit 300 miles at 70 miles an hour if it can maintain. It's going to be really close, but I don't know, maybe you can do it. Ioniq 6 up there, by the way. Pretty cool to see one of those.
And the G-Wagon back on the charger, and the bottom of the pack's about 350 volts. And we're ripping probably up to, not going to be full speed. Chargers got busy later in the day, so probably a bit shared power here, but still enough to make an impact and get me back up and running. Wonder what Kyle and Scott are up to.
Oh no, and there we are, losing speed. 293.7 miles is when we dropped off 70 miles an hour, and now I'm just sitting at wide open throttle until it dies completely. So yep, all is good. I'll probably think about how far GM stuff typically goes below this point, is like a couple miles. I might actually flip around and get us closer to the charger so I don't need to charge as long to get up that way. So yeah, let's, huge regen hit. Let's flip around right here, and we'll still run it to 0. But that was all regen, no friction brakes. That was awesome. This way, skirt, pulling in this way. This way, we don't have to charge as long to get over to the charger, which will be good. We'll just die on this side of the frontage road. All right, let's see how much farther it goes past 0, but still totally drivable. It's very good. What's funny about this is I'm sitting wide open throttle, 15 kilowatt power output, no turtle mode, nothing indicating any issue on the dash whatsoever. Currently, we've used about 175 kilowatt hours out of the battery pack, plus or minus, just under that. So yeah, I mean, our guess around 180 kilowatt hours is pretty accurate on these things. And I think it's good that we're just heading down towards the charger. This is just so much less juice that we have to put in the Hummer to get it over there. And it's just for fun to see what happens closer to 0. So here we are, wide open throttle, only 10 kilowatt power output, losing speed. Oh man, that's all she'll do right now. That's like a level 2 charging station. And it cannot maintain much speed. We're just losing it. So this is perfect for the end of our test here. I'll see what happens when it runs completely out, but it's going to be along this stretch. I just felt a judder, and it said, drivetrain power lost. Pull over safely. Out of energy. Charge vehicle now. All the warnings are coming on. Very good. So again, 0 kilowatts, no regen. It basically blew the contactor open is what it feels like. And we've got, drivetrain power loss, pull over safely. I'm going to shut climate off. Actually, it already did that. Nice. And we're going to coast up, hopefully up here to the stop sign, which is where, we can safely find a spot to pull over. Worst case, there is nothing around here. And wow, we're in a much better, safer place than that thing. That's a cool truck, actually. That's awesome. Yeah, we should be able to find a spot to pull over. Hopefully we'll coast. It's a little bit downhill, right to the stop sign, and then plug this thing in. The horn's going off. I don't know why. It says reduced towing speed, max tow 12 miles an hour. Oh, it thinks we're pulling it like with a trailer or something, freewheeling it. Drivetrain power lost. So I guess I'll drop the speed over here. Why is it beeping? This is hilarious. Anyway, very, very good spot to pull over. Out of energy, charge now. So it thinks we're just pulling it and it won't go into gear. This dude needs to stay on his side of the road. He's full throttle. Oh, this is hilarious. So hopefully it doesn't just throw the parking pall in and go, "Er," that would suck. But yep, we're just going to pull right here, and that'll be a safe place for us to stop and charge everything up. Actually, let's do it right here. This is perfect. Perfection. Off the side of the road in a very good spot. It's so funny. The horn is still going. Anyway, I'm going to shut this thing off. I have no idea why the horn is still beeping. It just stopped. All right. I've got to get my charge port door opener here because this is jammed closed. That's not anything to do with the range test. That's just broken. And there we are, 0%, 0 miles of range. I've got my little pry tool and we'll pop this thing open, get it charging. All right, I've got the EVSE right here. We're borrowing the one that we just used from the Mercedes. And shout out to our buddy Dan, again, always rescuing us with his awesome Cybertruck, looking great. And let's see if it'll start charging or not. Hopefully it will. It says, yes, we are charging at 11 miles per hour. Wonderful. All right, it's 4 miles to the charger. The Hummer says 2 miles to get there. We're at 1% state of charge. I think 1% should be good because we're on the charger side and I can drive really slow and efficient to get over there. Worst case, Dan can always roll up and plug in again. But I say, let's see if we can make it over to the charging station. My biggest question is, will the Hummer even turn on? That's always been a GM problem. We do have a 10 millimeter wrench to cycle the 12 volt if needed, but we are up to 1%. So I think we put in like 2 or 3 kilowatt hours. It should be plenty to get us there, would be my guess. That's my hope. Let's see. Okay, that's interesting. I unplugged and the range went to 0 miles. Let's see if it will start. Nope, we have to, oh, the camera's on. I think we're going to have to go into drive. Conditions not correct for shifting. Out of energy. I think we might need to charge it.
Try your front down.
Yeah, just hit the button to try and close the front trunk. There it goes. It's interesting how it went from 1% 2 miles, now showing 0 miles of range. Reduced acceleration, and it will not go into gear. Let me try closing the door really quick. Nope, gotta keep charging it. Ah, dang.
Alrighty, I am pulling off on the exit. It says that I'm gonna arrive at the pin with 2% state of charge, which is great. I'm currently sitting at 13% and I'm averaging 2.91 miles a kilowatt hour.
All right, well, I just unplugged it. I pulled the negative terminal off the 12 volt, put it back on. I think we should be good to rock and roll. It should start up now. Early GM stuff. Low, hood open. Uh-oh. Is it not going into gear? Come on. Go into gear. Climb it off. It's making some weird noises in here. Oh, no. Gosh, maybe it's because the front trunk is open. Let's try actually closing it. Open and open, then close driver window. Why does it say to do that? Into drive. We're good. Rock and roll. We won't pull out with that car there. Now I'm just going to inch it gently over to the charging station. Let's do it. The old GM having to cycle the 12 volt. Done it so many times now. And we have made it back to the charging station in the Hummer. Sweet. Let's plug this thing in down to 1%, but that's all we needed to get here. Pretty sweet.
Alrighty, so now it is putting me at my pin at 1%. I'm currently at 4% with 2.59 miles a kilowatt hour average. Let's see here. I have gone 358 miles. And Eddie from Range Rescue EV is already at my pin. So I told him to just keep following me once I pass him. And then for the first time, I will run out of charge in a car. So I've talked about it in a couple other videos and I haven't really known like what to do. So obviously I already have this pre-planned out, but I don't know what the car is going to feel like. Yeah, and then my co-pilot is still asleep and being perfect.
You guys joined me, Kyle, in the G-Class. What the heck? Yeah, Jordan had already charged this thing way up, and I decided to come meet up with Scott for her to run out in the Rivian, and we'll be saved by our new friend Eddie, who has a mobile recharging business. So he's up here to charge up Scott. So that'll be fun. We'll shoot a little video with him. And this is his mobile recharging rig, I guess, that he's got going on. So we'll talk to Eddie, and should be fun.
Okay, I am getting off on Frontage Road. I have a 2%. I'm averaging this. I'm going to go ahead and do this guy here. Now, I know that I am going to be going left here and then right on the Frontage Road. So, gonna do my little stop sign here. And there we go.
Guys, I met up with our new friend Eddie. What's up, dude? He's got this cool level 2 EVSE hooked up to his welder on the back of his truck. We're going to have a whole dedicated video on his setup over on the reviews channel, just talking about what he's doing when we're charging up Scott's R1S. But she's on the Frontage Road right now at 2%, so she should be running out momentarily. Then what we'll do, as soon as she dies, we'll pull this in front of the Rivian and charge it up so that she can get enough juice, same like we did with the G and the Hummer, to get over to the Wellington charge point DC fast charger. Should be sweet. Let's wait till we see her coming up over the hill.
Okay, I have been instructed to go up to the stop sign and then turn around and come back because I passed Kyle and Eddie. I'm at 1%. It says that I have 2 miles. I can't go 70 because this guy is in front of me. Currently at 370 miles. I'm at 0%, but I'm not losing power yet. So 0%. Now it's jumped up to 2 miles. I'm at 371 miles. I'm getting up to speed. All right. And we are at 70. Performance limited right now. Drive with caution. So it's just not really wanting me to go more, but I'm almost to the point where I can turn around again. So yeah. Okay, this is what he was talking about. So it's not going to let me go to 70. So I turn off climate. Okay, climate is off. Oh, now I'm matted. Okay, it's happening. I'm fully foot on the floor. Okay, 66, 65. Oh, yeah. That is not happy. I've gone 376 miles and a half, I guess.
Here comes Scott again. Very nice. She's continuing. Car's at 0%, but it's still ripping. Very good. Sounds like Scott's about to run out up the road this way. Jordan's back there with the roof off in the Hummer. He's gone full convertible mode, and I'm following Eddie with his mobile recharging solution so we can go meet up with Scott over here and get her charged up. So here comes Scott, very slowly crawling down the road, and Eddie's going past her, but she's still moving. My guess is she's going to die on this hill right back over here. I think that's where she's going to run out, but here she comes. She is crawling along at a snail's pace. Oh my goodness, it's going so slow. Running it out till it dies. It's still moving though. I don't know what that Rivian's running on, but it seems like fairy dust at the moment. She's doing 15 miles an hour. Really going slow. Somehow Scott is moving along at 11 miles an hour. The car did not auto put the hazards on. She did that. And we've, of course, all got our hazards on back here. But it's just moving along. This is feels like the Lucid range test. When we did that, if you guys remember the live stream, it went like an hour. But the farther we can go this way, the less we need to recharge it, I guess. So that's always good. I might just get out and walk at this point. I could definitely run up alongside Scott. But I told her to keep it floored until it stops moving, and she says it's definitely still outputting a little bit. So, I mean, I'm basically coasting in the G-Class here. So it's got to be out. I say that's probably pretty good. We should just call it here. So I'm just going to pull over this way. And yeah, she's just Crawling along the road. So funny. I called Scott and said, let's just end it here. But she's got to pull over to the side really quick because it's only doing 5 miles an hour. You gotta pull off the road there, Scott. Oh, it won't go into gear, will it? That's not a very safe place to stop.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Not my best.
All right, so we'll have Eddie pull up in front of you and get you charging. And here comes Eddie. We're going to use the Hummer to block here. And just to try to alert to some people. But there's a long enough straightaway. Hopefully no one crashes into her. And then we'll get the thing charging off of Eddie's setup here, which will be awesome. All right, charging port is open. Very good. All right, let's get this plugged in as soon as possible.
Okay.
So let's see the setup. He's going to choke this thing out, get it ripping. Starting up. Nice.
Amazing.
That's a pretty good setup.
I love it. He's also a farrier, so
Oh, really?
my people may kind of.
The light's blue and ready, so now we can.
Oh, yeah, so the charger's got to boot up a little bit.
Yeah.
Ripping it. Max RPM. We'll get it plugged in here. Boom. Nice. Let's make sure things are good in here. So climate's off. And we can also use a cool function of like this emergency lighting situation. Yeah, roadside lighting. We can say, hey, everyone should move that way. And we're charging. Nice. Off of combustible fluids. How you doing, Kona? I'm gonna roll the windows down for you, dude. Yeah, it's 7 kilowatts. We're ripping. Yeah. Nice. 7.3. Great. We've got all loads off. Everything's good to rock and roll. Windows down for Kona. And we are charging. This is sick. All right, Scott, I think we got enough juice from Eddie to get you over to the charging station.
Perfect.
Would you like to drive the G class over there, maybe?
I wouldn't like to, but I will.
Oh, you can take the Hummer.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Okay, sounds good. I'll take this over and limp it there.
Okay.
So I'll see you there in like 5 minutes. I gotta go slow. We are off in the Rivian, and we do have a warning though, which is thermal system fault detected. That doesn't seem good. Maybe it just needs a little bit more juice in the battery and it'll self-clear. But for now, we're cruising. We put in like 3 kilowatt hours, so we have more than enough to make it over to the charging station. Let's do it. Pulling in, that Ioniq 5 doesn't have a hood. Okay. Anyway, made it 0 miles, 0%. Perfect. As always, wonderful. Thanks to Eddie for charging this thing up. Let's end this range test video. It is the end of the range test. Holy smokes, Jordan, I feel like you died hours ago.
Yeah, I've 11:35 is about when I came off.
Yeah, so wow.
Yeah.
That's a huge difference. Okay, here's what I was expecting, and here's how I'm shocked. First of all, I'll be the first to admit, not the most perfect conditions for a 70 mile per hour test, but we all did go through the same conditions.
Yes.
There was a little bit more wind than I would like, a little bit more construction zone than I would like, although Jordan thinks it's okay. What was your impression?
I don't think it was that much. I was watching the speedometer like the whole time, and we were under 70 a little bit. But also, we've done range tests in much worse wind. So
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean,
and
it's the real
raining
world.
and windy for the next 10 days.
Yeah.
So
Well, we
this is it.
spend so much time trying to get the variables controlled as much as possible, and then anything can happen out on the, on the road.
Yeah.
That's why we run them side by side for comparable vehicles, because now we truly know the differences between these three, which are the only 3 electric SUVs, like full-size SUVs for off-roading, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I don't think there's others. There's a ton of electric pickup truck stuff.
Is a Wrangler
Electric? No.
No.
Mm-mm. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just, that's why we've got these 3.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Scott, you went the farthest, so let's end there.
One.
She won. Okay.
G-Class. Okay, on paper and in reality, this has the lowest range out of all 3.
Right.
How far'd you go?
230 miles at 70. Another 7 miles creeping gradually to a halt.
Okay, so it did output a little bit past.
A little bit. It was so gradual. It was like 68, 65, 60, so gradual.
Such a Mercedes thing. Did you see the power gauge come back
Yep.
on you? Yeah.
Power gauge very gradual. Power gauge only reads a minimum of 5, but you can still see like the needle won't go above like 1 or 2. So
Wow.
it's the most and it was a 7 mile straight line. There was no looping. It was just 7 miles constant until I died.
Okay, amazing. That is almost EPA rated range on the highway.
Yeah, yeah.
Which
nine
not
miles under, but yeah.
I mean, I was kind of expecting it to go farther.
Yeah, most Mercedes go further, but also most Mercedes are ugly efficient.
Worth it.
This is worth it. This, I had said in the video, this could have done less than 200, and I would have been like, still best car.
Love the G-Class.
Scott disagrees.
I hate it, but
Okay.
talk about that later.
I think it's amazing. So then the next worst was...
my efficiency, 2 miles per kilowatt hour, like 2.1 almost. So
Oh, wow.
just a hair over 2 miles per kilowatt hour.
Okay, and 116 kilowatt hour usable.
Yep.
But did you actually get that?
I mean, pretty much. If you do the math,
Yeah.
116 times 2 is
Yeah.
232.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah, plus or minus, you used everything in there.
exactly.
And you know, to be fair, all these cars have probably degraded a little bit. Like this has 5,000 miles and I had it for a
Right.
week shredding it. So it's probably down a
You degraded
kilowatt
a bit.
hour or something. Okay, Hummer rated, this is the oldest car here.
Yep.
It's technically a 2024. And it had 313 miles of EPA rated range. I did like 291-ish, 290, 291. It did the GM thing where they just go a couple miles past.
Yep.
And then it stopped. Weirdly, it blew the contactor open underway while I was driving, and I just kept coasting because I was like, I'll just get closer to the charging station.
Wow.
And it started honking. Have you ever had a GM vehicle start honking at you?
No.
So it was just beep, 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 and it thought that I was pulling it like with another car.
Oh,
And it
okay,
can
yeah.
only do that up to 12 miles an hour, and I was doing 22. So car seems
Didn't
fine,
like
no
that.
damage, but it's probably because the permanent magnet motors create some flux
Yep.
current, and it could fry the inverter, I guess, but it seems
So
fine.
You had 180 kilowatt hours, so your efficiency wasn't great.
Right, so I got 1.6 miles per kilowatt hour.
Okay.
Which is what I said at the beginning, Hummers always do.
Yep, you're right.
No
So
matter
they never
the-
change, no matter what.
They always are 1.6. And I pulled about 174, 175 kilowatt hours out of it.
Okay.
So-
So some degradation, yeah.
Yeah,
checks out.
but also, you know, more load. If we was a little bit more gentle, we probably could have gotten the full 180.
Yeah.
GM doesn't actually even, I don't know what the rated capacity is of this.
Yeah.
They just speak in miles, which is dumb. Scott,
Yep,
present to us your car's findings.
this is my car. At 70, I did 376 miles.
So over 100 miles farther than the G-Class.
Yep.
Right. Jeez.
And then I
Almost
ran out at
150
like
miles.
Yeah.
381.1.
Wow.
Dang.
Yeah.
So that's
That is a
Not-
good 150 miles farther.
yeah, not
Yeah.
too far under EPA for hers either.
The longest range Rivian we've tested, right?
I think so. But I
And
can
you
remember.
pulled over 140 kilowatt hours out of the battery. I think 142 or 143 is what it showed.
Yeah, I think 143.
Yeah, what was
so-
your efficiency?
I think I averaged like 2.7.
Wow.
Very
kilowatt
good.
hour.
So, man, that's impressive.
Yeah.
You know, that's basically perfect mileage for range testing on your car. 7,000 miles, tires are kind of broken in.
And it has an extra row of seats over these two.
That's a good point, Jordan.
I
Most
didn't even think about
practical,
that.
longest range.
Best car in the lineup.
Except for the
G-Class.
G-Class, but you're close.
Weird.
So yeah, were you impressed with how far you went? Because we did get your car as the max range spec.
I thought it would be, everybody kind of said around 380, everybody on X.
Really?
So that was kind of what I was thinking. So,
That's farther than I would have guessed. I
Really?
was
What did
guessing
you think?
350.
really?
Yeah.
Do you think if we had been like 100% 70 consistently, it
Yeah.
might have been
Not
350?
not 350.
30.
It would have been
30.
365,
Okay.
370.
Yeah, I mean, I was impressed.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I really think that's a fairly representative number because we also had some wind which pushed us, which isn't always great. So yeah, I mean, I think that's a pretty accurate, pretty close number.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because I would have expected this to do way worse because at 80, this thing is terrible.
oh, awful.
So it really is, you know, and wind resistance and rolling resistance, it's all, well, I guess aero is exponential.
Well,
Okay.
that's a very Lucid thing too. The Lucid did so well in 70, and then
Yeah.
at 80, it just kind of doesn't do so well.
I just remember driving this back from the factory, and to be fair, like the seals were fresh, the bearings were fresh, it wasn't totally broken in, but I remember being so disappointed. We got like 1.8, 1.9 miles per kilowatt hour.
Yeah.
And here it just did 2.7 at 70, which we were driving faster than 70, but really nice job to Rivian on the range on this car, Jordan. That is huge range.
Now we got to do the one you just bought.
Yeah, we got to do our new LFP worst range
Yep.
one.
Baby one.
So out of all three, which car would you take?
Mine.
Biased.
G-Wagon.
G-Wagon.
Why would you take the G? It was the worst one. It was the least.
Oh, I don't care about
But
numbers.
You don't buy a G-Wagon because you're rational.
Right, you buy it to go to Whole Foods.
No. You buy it because it's the best.
The best at what?
Everything.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that at all.
Okay, well, there we go. Congratulations to Rivian, honestly, for the little couple-year-old Hummer. Sorry, we had to pull the 12 volt, but that's fixed for model year 26, so
Right, yeah.
we can't really give them crap
Buy
for
a
that.
new one.
Just buy a new one.
Yeah.
Actually, lease a new one.
Right.
They're like
Insanely
$550 a
steals.
month.
$549.
Yeah, crazy. Nothing down.
Damn.
Where's this car from? We got this from the GMC dealer in Weld County Garage in Greeley, Colorado.
Right.
They were super nice to let us borrow it and beat the crap out of it. So we've been loving it. Congratulations to Rivian again for the 90th time on losing to the G-Class, because the G-Class is cooler.
No, it's not.
See you on another one again soon. Bye-bye.